These are the lesson activities for Math 117, Section 10.5 on consumer debt. Number one, this is a continuation from the last question in the demo. It says, given the monthly payments on a car loan of $25,000 at an interest rate of 2.99% over 4 years, which we calculated in the demo, was $553.25. So my payments on that loan are $553.25. What is the total amount that must be paid for the car? So I'm going to make that payment every month for 4 years. So my total paid is going to be $553.25. I pay that every month, so 12 times a year for 4 years. And that comes out to $26,556. So that is the total amount we paid for the car. However, the car only cost $25,000. So the excess that we paid over $25,000 is the interest. Okay, so the interest that we paid on this car is going to be the actual amount we paid, $26,556, minus the cost of the car if we could just pay in cash, which was $25,000. And that comes out to $1,556 that we pay in interest to buy that car with a loan. Number two, if you want your monthly payment to be no more than $1,200 per month, how much house can you afford at an interest rate of 4.75% with a 30-year mortgage? So we've got the monthly payment. I'm going to put that in for M. P is what I'm looking for, the price of the house. And then I know my interest rate is 4.75, and time T is going to be 30 years. So I'm going to plug in all the stuff that I know and solve for the P, the thing I want to know. So 1,200 equals P times, R is going to be 0.0475 divided by 12. Raised to the 12 times 30. Okay, so the hard part, I think, is plugging all of these numbers in correctly. So we've got this written down, and I want to solve for P. So this giant fraction here with all these numbers, this is just a number. And I need my calculator to figure out what this number is. It's just one big calculation. The answer is some number. P times something equals 1,200. Okay. So I want to figure out what this number is. I pulled up my scientific calculator to help me figure it out. So I'm going to start by trying to follow the order of operations. I'm going to do what's inside the parentheses first, on top. So 0.0475 over 12. So 0.0475 divided by 12. Hit enter. Then I'm going to add 1 to it. So I have to hit answer plus 1. And then I'm going to raise that to the 12 times 30. And 12 times 30 I can do in my head. It's 360. So I'm just going to hit answer, A to the B, 360. Okay, and then I need to multiply by this 0.0475 over 12. So I'm going to do previous answer times 0.0475, divided by 12. Perfect. Okay, so that's my whole numerator. Numerator is done. Now I'm going to divide by the denominator, and I'm going to do it all in one step. So I'm going to hit divided by, hit previous answer, divided by. In parentheses, I need the whole denominator in parentheses, like this, in addition to these parentheses here. Okay, so because I want it to do this whole calculation before it does this division. So I want to do this whole calculation following the order of operations. So I'm going to type it in exactly as I see it now. Okay, so I have a double parenthesis. Inside the smaller parentheses, I have 1 plus 0.0475 divided by 12. And then I just use the arrow to get myself out of those parentheses. And then I'm going to do a to the b. 12 times 30 is 360. And then use the arrow to come out of the exponent and hit minus 1. So I've got the whole thing typed in. I did the numerator in multiple steps, but I did the denominator all in one step. And just made sure I typed it in just as it's shown on the paper. Hit enter, and I get 0.0052 approximately. So I want to do 1200 equals 0.0052 times p. And so I'm going to divide both sides by 0.0052. And we get p equals, those cancel. Now I could just type 1200 divided by 0.0052, but I'm actually going to use the previous answer so that I don't round anything until the very end. So what I'm actually going to type is 1200 divided by, and instead of just typing 0.0052, a rounded version of the previous answer, I'm going to press previous answer, and it's going to use the number from earlier. And I hit enter, and I get $230,040. And 47 cents. So that is the price of a house I can afford if I want my mortgage payment to be $1,200. Just keep in mind, this is not including things like insurance, your home insurance, your property taxes, mortgage insurance if you don't have a 20% down payment. So this is just covering this $1,200 monthly payment, just covers interest and principal, so nothing else. And there are other fees that typically go into a mortgage, just to make sure you're aware. Number 3, Reed's credit card cycle ends on the 25th of every month. The interest rate on Reed's Visa card is 21.99%, and the billing cycle runs from the 26th of a month to the 25th of the following month. At the end of the July 26th to August 25th billing cycle, Reed's balance was $5,000. And during the next billing cycle, August 26th to September 25th, Reed made 3 purchases, with the dates and amounts shown in the table below. On September 22nd, Reed made an online payment of $200 that was credited towards his balance the same day. So I'm just going to write that down here. On September 22nd, he made a payment of $200. Just going to add it to that little table. Okay, part A. Find the periodic interest rate for the billing cycle, August 26th to September 25th. So it's number of days in the month divided by 365 times the APR. Okay, so to figure out the number of days in the month, because they start on the 26th and go to the 25th, it's not as easy as just knowing how many days are in August or September. I actually just count them like on my hands. So I have to figure out how many days are in August from the 26th to the end. So first I have to know, does August have 30 or 31 days? And it has 31. August is a 31 month. So count on my fingers. Include the 26th of August, and we include September 25th as well. So the 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31 is 6 days. So there's 6 days in August plus 25 days in September. That's 31 total days. So 31 over 365 times the APR as a decimal, which is 0.2199. And we just put this in the calculator. And I get 0.01867643 1384. I'm going to keep as many digits as I can so that I don't want to round that up, because that means you're going to have to pay more, right? So I want this to be as exact as possible. So I kept a lot of digits. Find the average daily balance on the credit card account for the billing cycle August 26th to September 25th. Okay, so we're going to fill in this table with some dates and balances. So on the very first day of this billing cycle, 8/26, the balance was $5,000. Okay, because Reed carried over a balance of $5,000 from the previous month. And that is going to stay the balance until his first purchase on the 31st. So this is going to be the balance until 8/30. And then on 8/31, Reed made a purchase of $148.55. So I'm going to add that to the $5,000. So 5,000 plus 148.55, and I have $5,148.55 is the new balance. And that is going to stay the balance until the next purchase date on September 12th, so until September 11th. And then on September 12th, we make another purchase of $30. So I'm just going to add $30 to the previous balance. So I have $5,178.55. And that is going to stay the balance until the 18th. Because on the 19th, Reed makes another purchase of $103.99. And my balance goes up again. It goes up to $5,282.54. And that will stay the balance until 9/21, because on 9/21, Reed makes a payment. I'm sorry, on 9/22, Reed makes a payment of $200. So I subtract $200 from the balance. Now my balance is $5,082.54. And that will stay the balance until the end of the month. The last day of the billing cycle is September 25th. Okay, so now I'm going to fill in the rest of the table. I need to know how many days this was the balance. So the 26th to the 30th, and we are including both the 26th and the 30th. I find it difficult to just do the subtraction because you have to include the first day. So I just count these on my fingers. So say the numbers out loud and count on your fingers. So the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th. That's 5 days. And then the 31st to the 11th, so count them on your fingers. So start on the 31st, that's day 1. Then September 1st through the 11th would be another 11 days. So this is actually 12 days. And then the 12th to the 18th, so 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, that is 7 days. And again, it's helpful. I actually count these on my fingers because it's tempting to just subtract 18 minus 12, which would only give you 6. And the reason it doesn't work is because you have to count the first day. All right, 19th to the 21st, that's the 19th, 20th, and the 21st, that's 3 days. And then the 22nd to the 25th, that's the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and 25th, that's 4 days. And then we take the product of the balance times the number of days. So we're doing this product here for each entry in the table. 5,000 times 5 is 25,000. $5,148.55 times 12 is $61,782.60. And then 5,178.55 times 7 is $36,249.85. 5282.54 times 3 is $15,847.62. And then 5,082 times 4 is $20,330.16. All right, so now that we have the table filled out, we can calculate the average daily balance, which would involve adding up the balance over all 31 days and dividing by 31. So Reed had a balance of $5,000 for 5 days, so that would be 5,000 plus 5,000 plus 5,000 plus 5,000 plus 5,000. So that's 25,000. That's why we do the product. So I'm going to add up these products and divide by 31. Okay, and that comes out to $5,135.81. Average daily balance. Part C asks us to find the interest charge for the billing cycle, also known as finance charges. And remember that that is your periodic interest rate times the average daily balance. Okay, so we calculated those in parts A and B. So I have this 0.0186 ... that number, times the $5,135.89. And that will give me the finance charges for this month, which is $95.92. And then part D is find the new balance on the account at the end of the billing cycle. So this is the balance at the end of the billing cycle before I added interest charges. So I started with $5,000 balance. I added to it with some purchases. I subtracted from it with a payment. And then I have to add on my interest charges to where I left off. So I'm going to take my $5,082.54. Add on my finance charge of $95.92, and I get $5,178.46.